Okay, Brooke go there, Casey here, Landry and Lindsay.
I mean, we have improved so much over, like, from spring to now. It's totally crazy. Like, our sets are getting much faster. Before they were like high and loopy, now they're like quick and really quick. Our defense has gotten like so much better. Like before, like balls would drop, but now in practice, like nothing's dropping, and it's so crazy because our rallies are going, like they're going on and on and on, and like a lot of the girls are getting tired, but I mean we keep pushing. And
what does this team have to do between now and the first game to be ready to be competitive when the balls get rolled out in that first game?
I think we just have to stay mentally strong. Like towards the end, we'd be so close, and then we would just drop off. We would, let balls drop. We wouldn't swing as hard as we could. We just have to be mentally tough and just keep going until the very last point.
This time last year, you probably didn't even know your coach's name. He was a face. It was like, who is that guy? He just showed up. He's here now. Oh my God, what do we do? As opposed to now, you've had a year with him. What have you learned over the last year? What have y'all learned about each other?
Well, I mean, I've actually heard about him from my previous, coaches. He's from California, I'm from California. So I actually asked around and asked about him to make sure, do we really want him here? And, I've just learned that he's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I love him. He understands us, like, he works with us. He doesn't, just say, you do this, 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 this. He'll, like, ask us our opinion about everything. And I think he's, like, actually learned to understand each individual player.
UAB, Michigan State, just to name a few, tournaments, travel. Talk a little bit about the schedule as a whole, and then obviously the ever tough Southland Conference.
Well, here's the problem for me. I've never actually thought about the teams we play, even when I was in a freshman for high school. I just, like, the day before, I know who we're playing, and then I show up. I personally don't care who we play because it doesn't matter. You bring your game, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You always play the same. You play with intensity, and it doesn't matter who you
What
play.
kind of person, what kind of teammate are you on the floor? Are you a person who leads by example, or are you a rah-rah leader? You get in people's faces and say, all right, let's do this now? What kind of person are you on the floor?
I'm kind of both. Like, if we start getting down, like, I'll actually get on them, which, I don't know, like, last year as a freshman, I don't know if that's actually, smiled upon, but, I get on them. But when I'm on the sideline, I, like, cheer and everything, try to get them up, especially when we're down, and, just try to encourage them the best I can.
I think the fatigue can get to us, but we all come to practice mentally prepared every day and remind ourselves that we're here for a reason.
This time last year, y'all didn't even know your coach's name probably. You knew his face, and he said he had cut everybody's picture out and stapled it to the inside of his binder so he knew who was who.
Right.
You've had a little chance to get to know him now. You've had a whole year. How's the relationship with Jim and for the team?
I absolutely love them. I actually can't imagine playing for anybody else. Even though he didn't recruit 95% of us, I think we are all into what he has going for this team.
The schedule. Everybody knows about the non-conference schedule. UAB tournament. You got Michigan State in there. You got some pretty hefty opponents, but how do y'all approach that? Do y'all look that far in advance, or y'all just working on getting better yourself?
Right. At the same time, we're looking to get better every day, but when we look at the schedule, yeah, they're a Big Ten school, but nobody expected Wisconsin to be in the national championship, so there's no intimidation, I guess you could say.
As a member of this team, what do you think that y'all have to do between now and that first game to get better and be competitive night in and night out, 5 sets? Because last year, y'all would come out the gate early in a lot of them and then kind of fizzle toward the end.
Yeah.
You were there, What was this team got to do to be able to sustain that and go deeper in matches?
Right. We've actually been doing a really good job of this, which is team chemistry. And, like, as long as every single person on the court has that connection, you know who you're playing next to and stuff like that, I think we'll be fine.
Between now and that first game, what concerns you the most? What do you need to get accomplished between now and then to be competitive in that first game?
Well, I think our defense is really good. Our passing is really improved. Our attacking, we need to get some more variation on our tactics. So I think that's our main thing that we're going to emphasize.
The schedule this year. Talk a little bit about your schedule. Obviously, things get starting with a non-conference schedule before, about 3 or 4 weeks in, you started with your conference schedule.
Right.
Usually there's some tournaments involved, some travel tournaments, some home tournaments. Talk a little bit about your schedule.
Yeah, we started off a pretty tough schedule. We're going to UAB and Sanford co-hosting a tournament. Michigan State is going to be there, one of the top Big Ten schools, so that's going to be a real good gauge for where we stand. We're going to James Madison to play in a tournament there. That'll be tough. And then we're playing Tulane tournament. So all three of those are going to be good gauges for where we stand. Let us take a look at what we need to work at, come back home and work on those specific things. And then we get into conference, and that's always tough. Always tough.
You mentioned the 3 days before the season last year. You and the girls have had a year and 3 days now. Talk a little bit about what you know more about your team. Last year, going into the first green and gold match, you didn't really know much. You were just dropped into the position and you were ready to go. But now you have a chance to fill a few girls. How good can this team be? How good do you, obviously you want them to be the best they can be, but how good can they be?
Yeah, actually during the green and gold match, since I didn't have any assistant coaches, I had the roster with their picture taped inside my notebook, and I go, you number 3, yeah, you go over there. Didn't even know their names at that point. And getting the year in, I think mainly during the spring, because that was kind of, after the season's kind of point, all the stuff that had happened before with the program was over, and now we can get into our system and build on that. So I've learned the girls, I learned their personalities, learned how to approach. You know, some players you can get on a little more, some need to be given some strokes. So I've learned those particular approaches to each player, and they've gotten to know each other too.